Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Yael and today I want to talk to you about meditation. Meditation is like a pearl inside of an oyster in the bottom of the sea. When we reach that pearl, we reach bliss. Meditation is part of yoga. It's part of the asana and part of the breath work, but meditation is in a higher level. And meditation holds the promise of us being blissful, joyful, aware of what's happening in our lives. In this video, I will explore with you how to make meditation fun. It's supposed to be a joyful experience. We're not supposed to rely on apps, on guided meditations. We can do it anywhere using our awareness. The next thing I will explore is the purpose of yoga that is summarized in Chitta Vritti Niroda, which means controlling the fluctuations of the mind. And lastly, I will introduce to you some simple techniques that you can use to start meditating right now. Because even though meditation is part of the 8 limbs of yoga, the 8 steps that one needs to pass in order to reach samadhi, in order to reach bliss and the feeling of unity, meditation is one of those steps that you can reach and grab at any time. Even if you never stepped on a yoga mat or on a meditation cushion, it doesn't matter. You can do it anywhere. And today I want to show a new approach to make it fun. So let's begin. So starting with the first point, meditation is joyful. And the basic understanding that meditation is joyful is that we get to be in charge of our body, of our system, of our thoughts. We don't need to be dragged by anything external. In yoga, there is a term that's called Pratyahara. Pratyahara means withdrawal from the senses. So there's so many things happening, especially in the modern world, but what is happening inside of me? I want to share with you something I read in a book that was introduced to me in my yoga teacher training. So the book is called Teaching Yoga. And here he quotes Alan Watts. Alan Watts was a meditation teacher, very famous in the 70s. And I find what he says here to be really interesting. And he just put it in a great way. Why meditation is like dancing with the present moment and enjoying what's happening right here and now. So he writes, my first meditation teacher, Alan Watts, whose mid-1970s radio broadcast offered mind-blowing kernels of insight into Eastern spiritual philosophy and practices, offered simple analogies to drive home the point that meditation is a process. When we dance, he said, the journey itself is the point. When we play music, the playing itself is the point. And the same is true of meditation. Meditation is the discovery that the point of life is always arrived at the immediate moment. He thought that meditation should be enjoyable, not a chore. It is an appreciation of the present, a kind of grooving with the eternal now, and it brings us into a state of peace where we can understand that the point of life, the place where it's at, is simply here and now. This take on meditation reflects a Buddhist influence. Since thoughts will always come and go, much like clouds floating by overhead, they are something to play with. Interested without being attached, the playful practice of watching is the practice. So basically that's pretty genius. Now to add on to it, there's a guy that's called Patanjali. Patanjali wrote the Yoga Sutras, and we base a lot of the yoga that we know today on the Yoga Sutras. One of the things he wrote is that the mind should be engaged with what is pleasurable and peaceful to the mind. Now that means that if we do entertain a thought, we should choose a thought that makes us feel good, that makes us feel hopeful and positive. We automatically do that when we're engaging with something we love to do. Then this is very individual. Somebody likes to surf, to paint, to cook, whatever. But when we do it, we have like this flow of pure positive energy in our body. And after we have this session, we feel renewed. Why is that? Because we manage to eliminate all different thoughts that were irrelevant to us, and we focused our mind on something that we loved, that made us feel whole, that made us feel united with ourselves, with the universe. So with meditation, we can choose our thoughts. We can be able to stop and say, I don't want to think that. And the more we do it, the more we gain tools to be able to focus in life. And focus is everything. Focus is what drives us to success. Okay, moving on to another concept that Patanjali introduced us to, which is Chitta Vritti Niroda. Short, CVN. Remember it like CVS, CVN. And the reason it's important to remember it is because that's the whole purpose of yoga. So Chitta Vritti Niroda means to still the fluctuations of the mind. From ancient times, they realized that our mind is pretty wild. And even if we say we want to do this, we want to go there, we want to feel happy, all of that, something comes and the wildness is entering our mind and we run from one place to another. And in our times, we know that as anxiety. But without calling it a name, it's a fluctuation of the mind. It's going from one end to another. So Chitta means mind. It's our thoughts. It's what's in our awareness, but it's also what's in our not aware mind. It's everything that's going on. Vritti means fluctuations. Now, there's a very famous analogy or symbol that's used in yoga, which is imagine a moon in the dark and water. If the waters are still, they reflect a very clear, crisp, exact picture of the moon. And that's what we want to be. We want to be those creatures that are still and that we can experience something as it is. But when the water is turbulent, it's moving, it's not at ease, it can't reflect the image of the moon very well. So Chitta Vritti Niroda. Niroda means to still something, to stop, to normalize. And that's what we are trying to do through the different practices. Now in yoga, we have the 8 limbs. It starts with yama niyama, which are rules of do's and don'ts with people around us, with ourselves. And then we move on to asana, which is the posture practice, which we all know probably from yoga studios. And then we have pranayama, which is breath work. And then we go up to pratyahara, which is withdrawal from the senses, and that is the beginning of meditation. So meditation is pretty much up there, and it's sitting on the foundations of what I just said. So sometimes, even if you go and practice yoga in a studio, it automatically can attract you to want to meditate, to feel that your mind can focus a little better. And then on top of that, if you learn how to meditate, boom, you become a winner. So I want to introduce to you a few techniques that are pretty simple that can help you start bringing awareness to your mind and getting into meditation. So the first technique, which can be combined with all other meditations, is a breath meditation. And what you are doing here is you're starting to notice your breath just as it is, just as you are. So you're imagining the air coming into your nostril, through your throat, into your lungs, expanding, and then on your exhale, contracting and going out of your nostrils. And you're adding to it the idea that through the inhale, you're getting the gift of the universe. The beauty of the universe is flowing to you, and on your exhale, it's flowing out of you. And while you're noticing your breath, notice when you're pausing, all is natural. When the inhale is longer than the exhale, just looking at your breath in a curious way. So after a few rounds of this meditation breath, you can keep on doing that for an hour if you want, or you can start introducing a mantra meditation. Now, mantra meditation is very popular. It's relatively easy to use. When I started practicing meditation, this is what I was introduced to and worked pretty well. So basically, mantra is a sound, and in this case, we are saying a word in our head or a phrase or 2 words, and this helps us focus on one thing. So for example, if we build on the breath meditation, we can start marking inhale, exhale. Every time we inhale, we mark in our mind, inhale, exhale. So what happens after a while? After probably a minute, 2 minutes, 3, 4, 5, different impressions start to want to enter the system because our mind is used to changing subjects very quickly. And what we're doing when that happens is marking it. So for example, if I'm in my inhale, exhale, and suddenly a thought comes, I mark it as thought and I send it away. If a scent comes to me, if a vision, if suddenly I'm uncomfortable, I mark it and I continue and I go back to my anchor, which is inhale and exhale. Other things that are popular to use are sounds. There is soham, which is that I am. So on an inhale, you mark that I am. On exhale. And after a while, you realize that the words itself don't have that much of importance. The importance they have is to get us in the rhythm and to help us get to that point of closeness to the self, closeness to the nothingness that is everything at the same time. You can use words that you like too, like love, peace, unity, or sounds that you find inspiring. Also, when you meditate, you can use different hand postures, different mudras. This is the Gayan mudra. You can use prayer position. You can put your hands facing upwards or downwards, or you can do a walking meditation, play with it, see what is good for you. When I started, sometimes when I would wait for something in my car, I would put a timer of 5 minutes, close my eyes and start practicing, and I would feel really great after that. But the point is also to incorporate meditation throughout the day. If you're not feeling good, start noticing what is happening in my mind. Where did I let it wander? And bring it back to a place that you feel empowered, that you feel good about yourself, and that you feel that you're the master of your mood, your soul, your day, your destiny. So thank you so much for watching. Bye.